Hi students, this is Brother Tanner. Today, as you can see from our slide here, we're going to talk about avoiding distortion in your perspective drawings, okay? It's important to understand that we are, as artists, are actually illusionists, kind of like magicians. We actually fool the eye into thinking that it's looking at something three-dimensional like a cube with height, width, and a depth, when, in reality, the viewer's eye is actually only looking at something two-dimensional. It's really just graphite lines on paper that have a height and a width. So just like any other magician, we have to be aware of the limitations of our illusions, okay? And if we don't do them right, the illusion won't work. That's why it's super important to know how to avoid distortion, because it ruins the illusion, okay? So let's jump in here. First, you need to know what a cone of vision is. In a future lesson, you're going to learn exactly how to measure for a cone of vision. But for now, just imagine a circle that's about 60% of the space between your two vanishing points. So in other words, imagine taking about half of the distance between your two vanishing points, which of course would be 50%, and then make that just a little bit bigger so that it's about 60%. Okay, and then center that circle right between your two vanishing points, and that's pretty close to the diameter of your cone of vision. So now let me show you why that cone of vision is important. Let's draw some cubes on our page here like this. Okay, so here's our horizon line, here's our two vanishing points, here's the front of the cube, here's our foreshortened lines. We'll cut this cube off at the back about where it looks like a cube. I'm just going to eyeball it for now. Okay, and here we have our cube. Okay. Now, remember that any of these lines that go back to our vanishing point are called foreshortened lines, okay? It's really important to remember that term foreshortened and recognize, what a foreshortened line looks like. Like this front corner, for example, that's not a foreshortened line. It doesn't go to the vanishing point. But these lines are foreshortened lines. Okay, so now let's draw a few more cubes. I'm going to speed up these drawings so I can show you this pretty quickly, okay? We'll draw one here inside the cone of vision. So let's draw one here. Let's do another one here. And we'll do a few more. Some of them are inside the cone of vision. Some of them are outside the cone of vision, okay? Okay, now that we have these drawn, you can see that the cubes that are inside the cone of vision are pretty believable, okay? But these that are outside of it get distorted. Now let's erase all of these guys and make just one cube that goes outside of the cone of vision so you can see what happens here. As you can see, this guy is way distorted, and you can hopefully begin to see why that cone of vision is important. Okay, anything that's inside the cone of vision stays pretty well believable, but once we get outside that cone of vision, then it starts to get distorted, and the farther we get outside the cone of vision, the more distorted it gets. Okay, so does that mean everything we draw always have to stay inside this cone of vision? Well, what if we want to do a large cube, on this page? What are we going to do to fix the problem with our magic trick or with our illusion? Well, we know that the cone of vision is about 60% of the space between our two vanishing points, right? So if we want to make our cone of vision bigger, all we have to do is move our vanishing points farther apart, right? Except we run into the edge of our page. Well, that's no big deal. We can fix that easily. What we're going to do is we'll tape our page down, and then we're going to tape a page next to it on the left, and we'll tape another page on the right, just like this. And now we've solved our problem, because now we can just make our horizon line go across all three pages. We'll put our vanishing points way out at the end of the two outside pages, and now 60% of the distance between our two vanishing points will include the whole center page. Now our cone of vision is bigger than that whole center page, so basically anything we draw on that center page now is not going to be distorted, right? So let's quickly draw a cube again and see what we can make a large cube on this page, and we've solved our distortion problems. Okay, so it's pretty easy, right? So people who do a lot of linear perspective, they use this trick a ton. I remember back in art school we used to tape a drawing, usually a pretty large one, like 18 by 24 drawing, and we'd tape it onto a long 8-foot table, and then we'd draw our vanishing points way out at the end of the table so that we'd have a huge cone of vision, and anything on our large piece of paper would still end up not distorted. Okay, so this is a good thing to know. Okay, so as usual, if you have any questions, make sure you can watch this video 2 or 3 times, or make sure to ask your instructor or bounce different ideas off of your classmates till you understand this well. Okay? Okay, take care.